I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. Yeah? Welcome, my followers, my friends, my families, my sisters, to Call for Wisdom. It's a tropical storm outside. That's why I'm singing in the rain. But it reminds me, sisters, of this little chat that I just would like to have with you today about why are we still singing in the rain? Like, it would be nicer to be inside, dry, in a shelter, than outside singing in the rain. I'm getting too old for this, like really too old for this. And I'm sure you are too. It's cold out there. It is cold. It's wet. There's a storm. There is a storm. It is an emergency. And I think it's time for us to stop singing just a little bit. Like, I love the joy. I love the childlike joy. I love that song. You know, it was nice when I was a kid because I could be splashing around in the mud, in the rain, knowing full well that my father had a house for me to go to. Right there, you know? And my mother would see me coming from a distance, me and my brother from a distance with all the mud and all the rain, and she'd pull out the hose and we'd get blasted, cleaned up, and then welcome back in, you know? And then we'd snuggle up in front of the TV watching cartoons on Saturday. Yeah, singing in the rain. But we are now grown women, and we're still singing in the rain. And that was not the plan. I know that was not the plan. Yeah, but we got to take some responsibility for it, right? Some accountability for it. Stop singing. Just stop singing. Just for 1 minute. And stop covering yourself with all the drama and all the songs and all the distractions. Like, I can spend hours and hours of work distracting myself of the fact that it is singing. It's raining outside. There's a tropical storm, literally a tropical storm. I hope you can hear me because there's thunder, lightning outside, right? And I'm singing in that rain. Now, as Yah believing sisters, I thank the Most High that He has given me internal comfort that this is the way it is today, and He's there for me, and I'm really glad for that shelter. But it's a temporary shelter in a sense that He really wants us to be under the umbrella of a man. Oh, dare I say, these feminine women hate me talking about this feminist women. I want you to be feminine, but feminist women don't like to admit that we need shelter. We need to create a covering, and it's better to have a man around. There's a storm outside. I mean, I just struggled to shut the door today. I was pulling that door in. And when you don't have a man around to help you push the door, secure the premises, make sure that if the roof falls off, he's going to help hide you underneath someplace, somewhere else, under his shelter of his wings. We are the weaker vessels, ladies. We are the weaker vessels. And if you don't believe that, look at Bear Grylls, that competition between the women survivors. I think they had like 10 women on an island, and they compared it to 10 guys on the island, and they had nothing. And while the women were bitching about all kinds of stuff and complaining about how hungry they are and how thirsty they are, and still wearing their skimpy bikinis and burning their ass off, the men were fishing. The men immediately had appointed a leadership, and they knew how to follow each other's orders and directives, and they had a plan. We women, we have this tendency to want equality, so we sit and nag, or we complain about each other, and we complain that we're hungry, or the mosquitoes, oh my goodness, the sunburn, oh my goodness, she made me feel so blah, 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 and we get distracted by our own emotionality, and that's how we are. I know, I'm a woman too. I'm just an older woman, right? And as an older woman, I've been there, done that, need a shelter. I've gone through hurricanes, need a shelter. I've gone through storms, and I know I need a shelter. And you need to sit with that, because I really, really want you to get it through your head that singing in the rain is not good. And so I need to make some drastic changes in my life, drastic changes to make sure, like an emergency, make sure I am covered. Now, there's different ways of getting covering. I'm talking to the spiritual women right now, right? Because not really the worldly women. They kind of get what I'm saying because I'm speaking English, right? But am I speaking spiritually to your heart? That's what I'm asking. Am I speaking to your heart, sisters? So, spiritually, a man like Adam was a cover for Eve. Yeah? We need that covering. And so you're looking around and you're saying, well, there's no man qualified for this covering. I know I need it, Sister Deborah. I know I've been looking. You've been looking, but have you been doing the work? Like, have you been making yourself the best version of you, like we like to say? Have you found yourself? No, really, seriously, sister. Have you made yourself the best version of you to attract the kind of man that you are interested in? Number one. And number two, are your standards delusional? Like, I need a shelter, but I do not need to go into the Ritz. I don't need a 4-star shelter. I'm actually on my budget. I can't afford a 5-star shelter, you know. I'm realized that there's one just down the road that I can easily go into that has decent beddings, and it has food, it has some entertainment. It's cozy, it's comfortable. It's not a 5-star hotel. It doesn't have a spa. It doesn't have a massage therapist. It doesn't have an all-you-can-eat buffet. No. But it's a shelter, and it's a storm outside, and I'm gonna get myself in that shelter ASAP, because this is the budget that I can afford. And at my age, I am so lucky that I can find myself into that shelter, and I'm gonna be so grateful for the covering of that shelter. Now, I am realistic in my age. I am realistic in my looks, right? I know who I am. I also know how much I can lose. I know how much weight I can lose. I know how much, I'm seeking the Ruach, the Holy Spirit, about how much internally the garbage, the baggage I can also lose, because I know that working shelters and storm shelters, they don't allow you to take baggage. No, sisters, no. Carry-ons are very small, like just overnight stuff, right? No long suitcases of baggage of last year's relationships, and 20 years ago this man hurt me, and I slept with 20 other people that each one of them left me some baggage internally. Like, that's kind of hard for shelters, no matter what kind of shelter you go into, to accept, because they have a limited amount of space in the shelter for extra baggage, more than you. But when it comes to a storm, and I might lose my house through the storm, I want to leave this extra baggage behind, and I'm going to run for my life into what I can afford to get into, and be content with that, happy to save my life, and also appreciative that they're treating me decent, right? So let's be realistic about what we qualify for and how desperate we are. I use the word desperate. Trigger. Yes, you are. You are desperate. You're heading towards 30, 35, 40. Hit the wall. Desperate. It's cold and frosty. The snowman is no fun, man. He's too cold to hug up to. You can't snuggle with Frosty. Frosty melts with my heat. And my umbrella got holes in it. The little rain blows my little umbrella. I cannot protect myself. I am a woman. A woman needs a strong man, and I need shelter. So I got options, but I don't want these options. This is some of your sisters are saying, I know, but the shelter down the street is a local shelter. I want an exotic shelter. I want one in Dubai. Because I'm online all the time online, looking at the shelters in Dubai. And there's one in New York. And there's a rich guy that's hitting me up. Oh, yeah. He's hitting me up. And I think he got a great car. And, Although I'm like 30 something, somehow he's gonna let me in, you know. So I got a couple options. You think, but you say so, but you're still in the rain. The reality is, sister, you're dripping. You are dripping wet. Your hair is all over the place. The wig is flying off. You're in a storm. You're getting older. You're getting more rough because the storm, you know, it gives us blows. We get bruised. I got a slap from this wind and a slap from that one. You know, it kind of traumatizes us to the extent that now I'm becoming this rough, tough, dust myself off. Yeah. Bad B girl. Bring it on, world girl. And that brings out the toughness, and then we like to blame the men. You know, we say, you know, these men are making us more masculine, especially us black sisters. We like to say, well, it's because I'm out there, I gotta be the man, I gotta be so masculine. The masculine energy comes out. Like, come on, please, sister. We don't take any accountability for the fact that we are outside because we don't like the options. And the options ain't so bad, actually. There are some decent men. There are some decent shelters, but we don't like them. We want what we want. We want the Ritz. We want the 5-star hotels, the Hiltons. You know, some of us think that we qualify for that because we got degrees. Yeah. I got lots of paper. I do. I just don't want to talk about it. I got expensive paper. Called degrees. And no man really ever asked me before he asked me for a date ever asked me, can I see the piece of paper? No, sister, they don't give a D about that. They don't care about your paper. They don't care about your degree, right? We care because we thought that would allow us entrance into any shelter that we wanted. We thought, okay, I'm gonna knock on the door of the 5-star hotel over there with the 50 something plus me and say, hey, let me in. And then they're looking at me up and down and like, yeah, no. And then they let the 25-year-old girl in there for free because she's hot. They let the 26-year-old in there for free because she's like, young, pretty. They let the feminine one in there for free because she sweet-talked them and she was gentle and she was kind. And actually, even the 30-year-old, they let her in because she was willing also to help out in the soup kitchen and to cook and to clean. Oh my gosh, and to do the bed, and she had a smile on her face while she did it. She didn't even complain. And so that shelter guy, he opened the door for her too. Did you notice it was the same shelter with 3 of them? Like, we'll talk about that later, girls. We'll talk about that later. I know you're not ready to handle all that in one little clip, but we're talking about desperation. Tropical storm outside. Literally today, there's a tropical storm outside. It's reminding me of my sisters who are also outside saying, be realistic at your age, at your stage in life, with your looks, and if you're overweight, big mamas, squeeze yourself into a shelter. Whatever it takes. Find a way to be realistic with yourself and say, well, you know what, Most High, I need covering, you know that. You probably know He sent you a couple of decent guys, decent shelters. I'm so surprised how much we lie about that, sisters. We lie about the invisible men. We make them invisible. It's like, I don't want to see that as an option because if I consider it as an option, that's beneath me. And I'm not talking about going to the streets. I'm not talking about getting a tent as a shelter. We know the difference between a tent or underneath the cellar or with the dogs. I'm not talking about that, sisters. I know, we got decent offers. Like just the other day, But you didn't check it, right? You rather be out in the rain. You're so accustomed to the rain now that you're singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling. I'm lying to myself again. So, changes. Let's make some changes. Let's see what kind of compromises that I can make with my dream. I'm actually negotiating with my dream. My fantasy and me are in debate here. My fantasy about what I deserve, what I can afford at my age and stage in life, and how much I need this needs to change. Like, I really need this. And then I'm going to open my eyes and realistically think, okay, I got 4 options locally. Like, I can see them, and they're hitting on me. You know, they're hitting on me. Now, I'm attracting them. Am I attracting them for the right reasons? Is it because I myself am dressing like, cheap? I'm looking really like a ragged dog now because I've been out in the rain for so long. Let's call it cats. I'm a wet cat, a little bit bruised, got some fleas, from all the other guys that I kind of slept with. So I'm not that attractive. Come on, please, 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 sisters, wake up. I love you all. I'm not saying this to make fun of you, although I kind of am. But I'm a sister too, right? So I'm saying this for the effect of wake up. Wake up, clean yourself up. That's why we got the Most High. That's why you need to seek a godly sister and come to her and ask for some advice. Call for some wisdom. Clean up your act. The Holy Spirit, the Ruach, the Most High can clean us up. He can kill all those little pests on you, kill the flies, clean you up. You'll still be a little bit old, tidy you up so that maybe a decent shelter will let you in. Like my mother with the hose. Shh, because she ain't gonna let no kid with all that mud on her inside her house, no matter what. So you need some cleaning up to do, some reality checks to do, some humbling with yourself to do, and then some going back to the shelters. Yeah, because it's raining. It's raining outside. It's beautiful though. I can do okay with that. I'm inside.